Hi everyone, and welcome back to My Dad and Liam. I'm Liam.
And I'm the dad, Arthur. We're son and father duo from London who have called the beautiful chaos of Indonesia our second home for the last 20 years.
A massive thank you to our founder, Aisha, for making all of this happen. If this is your first time joining us, we'd be so grateful if you could take a moment to subscribe, like, comment, and share. It really helps our small channel grow.
Just a small note before we begin. Everything we discuss here is purely our personal opinion, based on our own experiences. We sincerely apologize for any inaccuracies, mistakes, or if we accidentally say something that causes offense. That is never our intention.
Exactly. You might also notice that there's no video and no pictures of us, just a yellow and black vintage television. That's on purpose. We feel it's a more comfortable and personal way to just talk and listen, without any distractions. For our international friends, subtitles are available. Click CC to select your language. So, grab a cup of tea or coffee, and let's get into it.
You know that? I was just sitting here enjoying the breeze. It got me daydreaming about the classic expat fantasy. A beautiful villa in Bali, doors wide open to a garden, a small pool glistening under the sun. It's the dream, isn't it? The great escape.
It is a lovely dream, Dad. But as we both know from experience, finding a place to actually live here is a bit more complicated than just picking a nice view, isn't it?
Complicated is the word. It's a proper adventure, and entirely different depending on where you lay your hat.
Exactly. I think that's the best way to tackle this. Let's talk about finding a home by comparing the three cities we know best: the vertical jungle of Jakarta, the horizontal paradise of Bali, and the happy medium of Bandung.
Right then, let's start with the big one, Jakarta, your territory.
For most expats in Jakarta, life is vertical. It's all about the high-rise apartment. The primary concern isn't a garden, it's your commute time. You choose a place based on its proximity to your office to avoid as much of the legendary macet as possible.
So you pay a premium to spend less of your life staring at the back of a bus.
Precisely. The focus is on convenience, modern facilities, a good gym in the building, and security. It's a very efficient but sometimes sterile way to live.
I've always called it living in a luxury cage. A very comfortable cage, mind you, with a lovely view of other cages. But you're disconnected from the street for the real life of the city below.
It's a trade-off. But that's a world away from the Bali approach.
Oh, completely. Bali is all about horizontal living. It's a kingdom of the villa, the guest house, the little house with a garden. The priority there is lifestyle. Is it a short scooter ride to the beach? Is there a good yoga studio nearby? Is the Wi-Fi fast enough for you to work from your veranda?
A completely different set of priorities.
And the value can be extraordinary. You can still find a lovely 2 or 3 bedroom villa with a private pool for the monthly cost of a cramped, damp flat in Brighton.
Which is where Bandung offers an interesting middle ground.
It does. Bandung is where you can still find a proper house with a proper garden. Something that reminds me of home, but with banana trees in it. You get the city amenities, but also that feeling of a residential, grounded life. I must admit, I do love having a garden to potter about in.
Speaking of the dream of having a place, this brings us to the most complicated part of this whole discussion. The legal side of things. It's a minefield for newcomers.
Ah, yes, the small matter of actually being allowed to own anything.
And this is the most crucial piece of advice for anyone listening. As a foreigner, you generally cannot own land and property in Indonesia under a freehold title, or hak milik. It's reserved for Indonesian citizens.
So that dream of buying a villa in Bali is just that, a dream.
Not exactly. You just have to understand the system. The most common and legitimate ways for an expat to secure a property is through long-term leases, or hak sewa, which can be for 20, 30, even 50 years. You pay a large sum up front, and the property is yours to use for that entire period. The other way is by setting up a foreign-owned company, a PMA, which can then hold certain titles to land.
Good heavens. Sounds like you need a lawyer before you even look at a real estate agent.
It's highly recommended. The key takeaway is do your homework and get proper legal advice. Don't just hand over money based on a handshake deal.
A handshake deal is how I found our first rental, and that was an adventure in itself. I remember the house hunting, the things that are perfectly normal here, but utterly baffling to a fresh-off-the-boat Brit.
Like the bathroom situation.
The bathroom. I walked into what was otherwise a perfectly nice bathroom, and there was no shower, just this tiled trough in the corner filled with water, a Bock Mandi, and next to it a little plastic scoop, a gayung. I was completely stumped. I thought it was some sort of bizarre bidet. I had to have you explain that you're not supposed to get in it, you just scoop the water over yourself. I remember your faith, utter confusion, and the wildlife. The first time I heard a tokadeko in the middle of the night, that loud barking, tokik, tokik, I was convinced we had some sort of prehistoric beast trapped in the walls. I was ready to call the embassy.
It's just litter, Dad. They're good luck.
And electricity. The prepaid token system, Listrik Pintar. A brilliant idea in theory, but nobody tells you that it makes a dreadful beeping sound when it's running low, usually at 3 a.m. And if you ignore it, poof, darkness, right in the middle of dinner with guests, all because I'd forgotten to feed the meter like some sort of digital Tamagotchi for the house.
It's a steep learning curve.
It is. And it all teaches you something profound, I think.
About what a home really is.
Well, back in London, a home is a fortress. It's your private castle, defended by a high fence in a general suspicion of your neighbours. Your home is defined by your front door. Everything inside is your world. Here, you learn that a home isn't just the four walls of your house. It extends out into the street. It includes the friendly security guard at the gate who knows your name. It includes the warong at the end of the road where the owner knows you like your coffee black. It includes neighbours who bring you food and give you unsolicited gardening advice. You trade a bit of that absolute privacy for a whole village of community. And that's a concept of home I never would have understood before living here.
That it's a much bigger and warmer definition of home.
And that's all the time we have for today. We hope that gave you a little taste of life in Indonesia. We're always looking for new ideas for what to talk about next.
That's right, so please leave us a comment below. What topics about Indonesia would you like to hear us discuss next? Culture, food, daily life, funny stories? Let us know.
Thanks so much for listening to My Dad and Liam. We'll talk to you next time.